Okay, great. So, Laurane, go ahead, please introduce yourself.
So yeah, I'm Laurane Fréour. I'm a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Vienna. Right now, I'm doing a postdoc on the sustainability of a potential future telescope that could be built in Chile in the horizon 2040s.
Mhm.
And yeah, I have a PhD in astrophysics, and I did more theoretical work before moving on toward a different path because now it's more engineering oriented. And
Right.
I don't know if it's relevant. I'm from France, and I'm in Vienna now.
Okay. Right, cool. So you were always very astronomical oriented from what I'm hearing. How did it evolve? How was your career trajectory? Your bachelor was also about astronomy or something relevant and close, or no? Like, how did it start?
So it's a bit I don't know.
I know,
Actually,
like no one had a linear trajectory here,
yes.
except for one person. Like no one is coming
Okay.
from an actual astronomical background here, especially from like
Yeah.
college days or like bachelor section. So yeah, like please give us your own story.
Yes. Yes. So I did actually. So the French system, and that's why I mentioned I'm from France, is a bit different because
All right.
so just after high school there are several paths, and one straightforward path is university, but there is also a more common path among people that want to do long research and long studies, which is this what is called classe préparatoire.
All right.
It's basically 2 years of very intense preparation to the
All
exam,
right.
the entrance exam of engineering school and of what they call grande école, which are
Mm.
it's very elitist, and I don't really yeah. I think it's really good because you have a lot of material and a lot of knowledge, but it's really
Mhm.
elitist, which makes it a bit unfair, of course,
Okay.
unfortunately. But that's the path that I choose after high school. So I did these 2 years of preparation. Then I took the exam for engineering school, and I entered an engineering school. So at first, it was really more, it was not that straightforward to become an astrophysicist, even though I really wanted to do that since I was 8 years old. But
No, really.
yes,
Okay, tell us a little bit about that before entering this like longer path.
yes, so I grew up in the Reunion Island, which is
Okay.
an island in the Indian Ocean close to Madagascar.
Right. Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and there, when I was 8 years old, I took part to this camp, this astronomical camp, and we went to an observatory. And I remember so much like observing Saturn, like the rings through the telescope and the
How
spot
old
on
were you?
Jupiter.
How old were you? You were so
8 years
little.
old.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, and
Oh
I
my
just
God.
I knew from this moment that I really wanted to understand all this because it was really yeah, the pictures are very clear in my mind right now.
Oh,
It was really
wow.
cool.
This is the second time that I'm hearing this. There is
Yeah.
like a professional science communicator that I just interviewed maybe 2 weeks back. And one of his earliest memories was this as well. When I said, how did you end up here? He said, oh, yeah, I was staying with my grandparents. And then I was very bored. And then I have this very clear memory of night skies and stars and everything. So
Nice.
yeah, like, how was that experience for you when you first like looked at the stars? You were like, okay, I want to learn about this stuff, or I want to learn more, or is it like something that I just feel connected to? I think I'm gonna be
I
dedicating the rest of my life to this.
I think it was both. It was really like, wow, how can this be so beautiful? You know, like it's so far away and you don't resolve it without the telescope. And through the
Right.
telescope, you can see this these planets like this. It was really this yeah, amazing feeling, I would say. Um,
Right. Like this science communicator was also saying that, oh yeah, sometimes I just look at the stars with my own telescope, with my own
mm,
eyes. Yeah, I like to also survey the skies with my own eyes, naked eye. That's a
nice.
great experience, like whatever telescope that you have, right?
Yes, exactly.
So, so this was the childhood memory that led you towards this, but then you went through an engineering phase of your life. So I have a question for you. In France, is it possible to select astronomy as your bachelor major?
Yes, you can also do that if you go to
Right.
university without doing these 2 years of preparation. You
Okay.
can directly enter a bachelor or licence, as we call them in French,
Right.
in astronomy. But
Right.
so there is this thing, I think it's still, I don't know, so it's 15 years, no, not 15, 10 years ago that I finished high school now. And back then it was still this really big idea that if you're among the best in high school, you have to go to these pre-pack classes
Oh, of
because that's
course.
where
Yes.
you can, yeah, you can
Right.
enter the best engineering school. And there is one of them which is called ENS or ENS, which can also prepare you to work as a professor and have a
Right.
more academic orientation for
Mm.
your career. And that was the one that I had in mind, in the back of my mind.
Right.
And we also have a very cool engineering school, which is YA&A in
Ah,
Toulouse.
right. I've heard
Yes,
about it. Right.
yes, because
I
I
know.
think it's Thomas Pesquet. He did
Okay.
this engineering school, so this was
Okay.
also another of my goal in back then.
Right. You said something that is very interesting for me. Do you also think there is pressure for kids who overperform during high school and they have to select a certain path? We have this very much as a classical thing in Iran that if you're scoring so high, you've got to forget about some majors like practical ones or arts or stuff like that that you know you're not gonna have a good job. At least like I mean, it's you will not have job security, let's say, later in life. So is was that a thing for you as well? Or did
Oh
you suffer
yes,
from that at the beginning because you were a very good student?
yeah. So I don't know if I suffered from it, but I could really see that they would tell. I mean, not explicitly, but they would say implicitly that if I mean, university is good, but it's not the best, and you might end up with nothing because it's just a university or a master degree.
Right. True.
Uh, but if you go to engineering school or like something, it's the grad, which I mean, it's just a lot of biases, I think, talking there.
Right. And most of this pressure was from the school seniors, or was it also from your parents? How did it balance? Was it like a,
So,
was it
yeah,
both factors? How did it happen?
I think I felt it a lot in at school in the way they would introduce the different career paths that we would have, or
Mm.
even before when I think it's around 14 years old, we have to, or 15 years old, we have to select if we want to go more toward literature, toward
Right.
economic, or toward science. And here is like this also pressure of if you're good, you should go to science because you will not get anything with a literature high school.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Do they
Uh,
also do these meetings with parents to persuade them to also persuade you that you should go through certain education?
I didn't have this at least. Did you have this in Iran?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
Oh,
the pressure was re real over there.
yeah,
Yeah. No, they would really dissuade you from moving from where you're at. That's a lot of fighting. Like, for example, for
okay,
me, pursuing physics was a very big fight
okay.
with both my family and then the university because I could go for an engineering degree. And that is something that you have a better job security with, at least in that country, because with physics, you just end up being a high school teacher tops. Then if you go for PhD or higher that no one saw in me back then they were like, okay, whatever. We don't think like you're going to have like that level of education. So like I mean, this will be your career path. So just
Yeah,
don't go down there. But it was a lot of conversation, pressure, and then a lot of fight. And as you said, we were very young back then. It's the age like anywhere between 15, 14 to 18 and you have to decide for the rest of your life because wherever you're going, it's going to be at least 4 years before you can change your trajectory.
yeah. And
So,
I think we always hear from, at least back then, you always hear from successful people. Like there are people
yeah,
that come to talk about their work, but they never mention that maybe they made a mistake, or not a mistake, but they took an alternative path to arrive, or that they made the wrong choice at some point and they regretted it and they changed it. We don't have the backstory. We just have the result now.
right.
And
We
yeah,
just have the results, and also the selection is just so biased. They select the people who will come over there with a very firm narrative. This is how we started, and this is where we've ended. A very safe path. And then they
yes,
expect everyone to fit in the same box, which is
yes,
criminal, I
exactly.
think, especially at that age, because you cannot tell right from wrong. You don't have that much experience about life, and you're discouraged to no one told me that back then. It's really surprising for me. No one told me that you're going to have your own unique journey and path, and you don't have to fit anyone else's narrative. You will have your own life. No one told me. They were like, oh, this is the path, and you have
Yeah,
to follow that path, which is very weird to me as a 30 years old woman. I mean, if
yeah.
someone tells me that right now, like I'm gonna be saying, yeah, like, bull ass, but seriously, like, what a BS. But Yeah,
Yeah.
back then they really try to brainwash you somehow in order to, yeah, you should be following this path and this is a safe path and don't, and stop like concerning anyone else. This is like how
Yes.
society works. No, I mean, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's continue with your story. So you got an engineering degree, I believe, as a
Yeah.
bachelor, and then for your master and PhD, how did it go?
So it's a bit different because basically after these 2 years, I enter an engineering school and you cannot get an official bachelor degree out of the engineering school. You only can get through the master. So you have 2 years of this preparation, you take the exam, you enter the engineering school, and then officially you have 3 years. And at the end, you graduate with a master in engineering.
Okay.
But there is also something that is quite common is to do a double degree if you want to specialize in some specific field, and that was my case because I was doing a very general engineering school, and I really still had this in the back of my mind that I wanted to be an astrophysicist.
All right.
So I decided to do a double degree with the Denmark Technical University in Copenhagen, and there I specialized in space research and space engineering.
Right. Was it DTU?
Yes, yeah.
Ah, nice. I know the environment there is great, right?
Oh, it was amazing. It was really,
Yeah.
really nice. And there
Right.
I really felt that I had the flexibility to, so it was
Right.
still officially more an engineering degree,
Mhm.
but I talked a lot with director of the study program at back then, who turned out to be French. And I managed to actually take a lot of theoretical courses and go to the
Right.
University of Copenhagen to take elective courses, which fitted me much better than engineering, I think, in
Okay.
general. So that was really
Right.
cool.
Nice. So again, your master's was on engineering. Where did you make the shift to astronomy? How did it happen? What was the story?
So in this master, we had quite a lot of flexibility with how we wanted to, which courses. So of course, there were mandatory courses that
Right.
were more measurement or engineering related. And then we had a lot of elective courses that we could take. And then I took this course on cosmology and it was amazing. It like broke my mind, I think, because
Really?
cosmology is.
What was the best memory that you had of this course? Yeah, what was the topic that really caught your attention?
So there was this thing I don't remember exactly. First, the teacher she's amazing, and I really loved. She started the course by telling us, "Are you really ready to do cosmology? Because you're not going to be the same person after. Because you'll understand that you cannot understand."
Oh, show business.
Yeah,
Oh my God. And then cosmology is one of those courses that I hated. Like I'm coming
really.
from a physics background. So my
Yeah.
master thesis was on general relativity. Cosmology is like very different thing, right? Compared to general relativity. General relativity is
Yes.
all about like topology, like Newtonian mechanics, and then it's got like all of these like very beautiful like tensorial calculations, etc. Like it's a very different thing. Cosmology is all about, I don't know, it's like a history thing, right?
Yes. Exactly.
It's
It's
like,
more
yeah,
like
it's about the history of universe, kind of, and
yeah.
a lot of theories. Like we usually say that as many cosmologists as you have, as many theories you get. Because everyone just came in and has a theory. Well, with general relativity, you have like five people who developed the field. Like, I mean, in total, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So what was the topic that like blew you away, like besides your mentor?
So I remember this thing. I don't remember exactly how it was phrased and what to take away from it, but it was that it's not normal that the sky is dark given the amount of stars and brightness that we receive. And I still don't really understand this. That was the first lecture. So
Right.
yes,
Oh
but
no, nice. Did you know that Edgar Allan Poe had touched on this topic as well?
really
Right.
nice.
They said like he knew the answer in one of his poetry. And I remember there was this book that they started from that poetic passage from Poe's book, which is, I mean, amazing. Yeah, like I mean, there are plenty of people who think about this thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm this level dumb. I had never thought about it before I heard the question.
Yes.
Yeah, right. You're right. We have so many stars. How is it that the
Yes.
night sky is not like all bright, right? It should be
Yeah.
like even much brighter than the daytime. But yeah,
Yes. Exactly.
no, it's
So
a
this
nice thing.
really drove me to this, and I think there is a bit of philosophical questions also that I really like to think about.
Like what?
Like I don't know, why are we on Earth? What, like, how, just how is this possible?
How
Why,
did this
like,
happen?
yes,
Yeah.
exactly, the Big Bang, okay, cool, but how?
Right. And then like we came to being after
Yeah,
billions of years
yes,
of
exactly.
evolution, right? Like with everything else, that's just so exotic.
Yeah, and we are gonna live what 80 years old maybe, and the time scales of the universe are billion years. So this is all blowing my mind. Yeah.
Right. But since you're a very profound person, why do you think we're all stuck with this question? That what are we doing here? How did this happen? I mean, it happened. Like a lot of other things, right? Like there
Yes.
are like
Yeah.
plenty of things happening. I don't know, like galaxies merging every day.
Yes.
I mean, why are we here is a very small question, but I don't know. Maybe it's because we're very human centric. We think a lot about ourselves.
Yes. Yeah. I
So
guess
this is
so.
why like this is a big question. Like for me,
Yeah.
like I mean, I don't know.
Yes.
I'm not that human centric. I'm like, okay, we're here like a lot of other things are here as well, like living
Yeah.
life. And I
Yeah. I don't
usually think
really.
that this is not about us because I see like the time scales and age of everything, and I'm like, okay, we don't count at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. But yet
Yeah,
we.
we're not that relevant anyways.
Yes, but we are all here and we want to have an impact, in a way or
Right.
another on the world. So it's really, as you say, a bit human-centered, and but it's also really cool, I think, because yeah,
We were having this conversation in another interview as well, that how mind-blowing it is that we can actually connect to this stuff. We can teach it at the universities. We're curious enough to like send out shuttles and the telescopes to the orbit
Mhm.
and then have more observation. I mean, no other animal on this planet is doing the same thing. They're not as
Yes,
curious as us, and they don't want to change everything aggressively. I mean, we have done a lot
yeah,
of like awful changes to this planet as well, but this is one of our biggest achievements that we started knowing our surrounding in a way that no other species has done.
yeah, pushing the boundaries, yeah, of knowledge.
I mean, yeah, this is also very weird that why we want to know. Why we are
Yeah,
like so dead set to understand what's happening around us and why did it happen, how did it happen, and we are just, I mean, putting a lot of money and then investment into these questions, although all of them are philosophical, they're not really benefiting us in a monetary way.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
I mean, imagine
more,
we understand like what we're doing here, so
yeah, yeah, it's
yeah,
really
but we
cool.
want to know. We badly want to know
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
how life initiated and what are we doing here, and then like where we're going from here. Is there any other species that's similar to us? All of these like
Yes,
big questions. So
yes, and
for you, there was like this philosophical aspect that also got you into astronomy, which
yeah.
is about what we're doing here.
Exactly, yes. And then my first hands-on experience, like research experience, was my master thesis that I did at
Right.
Paris Observatory.
Right.
And I really loved it. I was working on the magnetic field of stars. Really, really nice.
Oh,
And then, yeah, then I moved to Vienna for my PhD. And that's where I am now. I
right.
defended earlier this year.
So where are you with that big question now? That why are we here? What are we doing here these days? I mean, it has started like 10 years back, right? I think.
Yes, but I think that what also keeps me going with research and
Right,
this,
it's
because
still the main driver.
yes. And what I find also fascinating is that it's not only us as astrophysicists or astronomer,
Right,
but also every time I mention that I'm doing astrophysics, people are asking me, "Oh, but why? Like, what happened at the beginning of the universe? Or do you think there is extraterrestrial life somewhere else?"
right,
So it's, I think, really something that is universal, as we were discussing before. And this, I find it very beautiful. Mm.
right. And do you see this look of disappointment on their faces when you say that life came to being from nothing? Most probably it came to be from vacuum.
Yes.
And
So
they're
I
like, this
don't.
is so dissatisfactory.
Yes, exactly.
I think
I
it's
don't.
actually very satisfactory, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, imagine if there was a very complicated things with like all this like plasma fusion, nuclear fusion, and then like all these things like coming together to like, I mean, make this all happen. I think vacuum is a very simple and beautiful and elegant answer,
Yeah.
right? It all came from nothing.
Yes, yes. I've never used this answer, but I will try next time to see how people are reacting.
It's good for annoying people, right? Like, I mean,
Yes,
it came from nothing.
exactly.
So, when you started your career as a PhD student, so like you finally arrived at this phase when you were quite, let's say, mature from a human perspective, because it was not like, for example, you started astronomy as a career at the age 18. So most probably like you were around 25, right? So how was your experience during your bachelor days? Was it a very satisfactory one, or was it something that you did not expect it to be like this? How was your
You mean
PhD experience?
as a PhD experience? That's a very good question. I have many answers. I mean, I have one answer. It's also non-linear. But
Oh, really? Okay.
so I started, I was so excited. I remember very
Hmm.
much. I was so excited by my topic. I'm working on globular clusters and on multiple cellular populations. And I just spent the first, I think, 3 months. I could not really sleep at night because I was too much thinking about the topic and very much, into wow. Finally, it's
Right.
I'm where I want to be because I'm doing something that I really love. And then I don't know, this sustainable awakening in a
All
sense
right.
where I got so struck by how the world is going, where the world is going, and the climate crisis and everything that this completely broke my
Oh,
excitement for astronomy.
right. When did this happen? Was it the first year of PhD or the second year?
Yeah, it started slowly. I think it was 6 months after I started. Yeah.
Okay. And it
Yes.
became a very big crisis for you,
Yes.
I
Yes.
imagine.
Yeah, because so as I said, I wanted to do what I was doing since 8 years old, and I also
Right.
another reason why I wanted to do that is because I had this dream of, oh, I'm gonna be a scientist, I'm gonna travel the world, I'm gonna talk
Right.
to anyone, and it was gonna be
Right.
super cool.
It's
And I
true.
realized also that it's not in agreement with my values anymore because I don't want to take the plane to travel, and I want to be more sustainable in my way of living. So this was a bit of
Right.
an internal conflict
Oh my
between what
God,
I
like the
wanted.
tension came into play the moment that you want to start being something that you had prepared for almost, I don't know, like 20 years.
Yes, so I
Oh
cannot.
my
Yeah,
God, yeah, bad timing. But
yes,
oh my God, like there was like such a like huge plot twist.
yes. But because I think sometimes you idealize something and you
Right,
realize after a lot of time that it's not actually the way like the way you used to perceive things is not the way you are anymore. So because
right.
has happened in between, things have happened, things have changed. So yeah,
This is very beautiful, though. I think, especially for people who are very young and
yeah,
maybe they're watching this, I don't know. Yeah, to just see that, oh, yeah. This was a very beautiful way of putting it. That, yeah,
mm,
something that you idealize in like 5 to like 10 years for you, they don't look the same thing. I was
yes,
also very much disappointed. I remember when I figured out that what is the lifestyle of an astronomer
okay,
because I figured out that it's really not sustainable, very extravagant, quite fancy, and not at all aligned with scientific way of thinking. It's a lot about buzz, show, performance, business, how you put your ideas out there, which university you're coming from, what your passport is, because it also like needs a lot of traveling, right?
yes,
So
exactly,
yeah, like when I figured out all of this stuff, I was like, oh, all these people that I was worshiping a lot, like, yeah, it wasn't organically produced. Like, I mean,
yeah, yeah.
whatever that we saw, it was not natural. That as not as natural that I expected it to be, at least.
Yeah, there is a huge bias selection function, and
Right.
yeah, it's not really fair, I think, as a
It's a
yeah,
huge can of worms in and of itself that how the lifestyle is unfolding when you're maturing in this field.
yeah,
So it happened very early on for you. It was the first year of your PhD that you figured out that, oh yeah, like there are stuff that I really don't like about this field. Not like the field itself, scientifically speaking, but the lifestyle and then like how you need to live with it.
yes, yeah,
So
and
how did
also
your journey change? Please, no, go ahead. I just cut you off, I think.
yes, no, I think something that was on top of this at this moment also is that I tried to submit. So I submitted my first PhD paper, which was my second paper because I had already one in the master thesis,
All right.
and it got rejected with terrible comment from the referee. And it was really something that, I mean, I was what, when I started the PhD, I was 23 years old.
All
So it
right.
really, like stopped me in the way that, because for me, science is about knowledge and it's about, I mean, you can
Right.
make mistake and you can
Okay.
point out mistake to other people,
Oh
but
yeah,
you
of
have to
course.
do it in a human way. You cannot just,
Right.
I am. And this referee report really, I think, was hard for me because I
Oh.
realized that not everyone has good intentions, and sometimes people
Oh
phrase
yeah.
things
No,
and they don't
absolutely
think
not. Right.
about the
True.
consequences. But yeah, So that was, I think, something else that played a role in this moment of stopping a bit my amazement feeling of astronomy.
Do you want to talk more about this? Because I think this is very important. Like, I have only heard this from someone else who was actually a very good, nice. I mean, I have heard it twice. So, like, both of them are girls, very young girls, but I think both of them are brilliant, very well spoken, and very articulate, and very good at just articulating their ideas and then like putting forth their ideas, like scientific ideas, etc. But then both of them had this article rejection sort of thing in their PhDs as well. So do you
Yeah.
want to talk a little bit about that? Because I think this is especially very common among young women.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know what more to say, to be honest. I think that there was good reason to reject the paper because I think that, so I was taking a direction for my research that was not the one my supervisors had thought at first. And they always
Mhm.
let me go with my thoughts because I have a lot of thoughts all the time and I like really much to
Mhm.
discuss ideas and stuff. And there was this line of direction which was on chemistry rather than, I mean, physics, yeah, chemistry and nucleosynthesis rather than really what they were wanting me to work on, which was dynamics, which meant that I didn't have proper guidance because I didn't have a lot of knowledge on what I was, the path
Okay.
that I was taking.
All
So
right.
I think this meant that the outcome of the paper was not as good as expected. So I think they did very well to reject the article. But what was really terrible was the way it was phrased, because it was really phrased in a way that that's bullshit. Basically, it's shit, and taking every point of the article and saying it's bad, but nothing constructive. Just criticism
Oh, right. Okay.
in a way.
But the nerves, though, like copy pasting every single paragraph and saying, oh, okay, this is not readable. Yeah, like whatever. Yeah,
Yes,
not true. Because you can also, I mean, if that was something that, I mean, according to your judgment, you think it was something that was not good and not meeting the standards of that journal, then they could just say that, okay, this doesn't meet our expectations. And this is why we're
yes,
rejecting it. But yes, like why people feel the need to be vindictive sometimes and then humiliate people openly.
yeah,
Especially, I think, because you can tell now, like after so many years in this career, I think we can tell that whether a paper is coming from a young author or not. Like we can see the level of experience. And I think some people do this on purpose.
yeah. You think could be, yeah,
I think so. Especially if they figure out that this is a young woman, then they are
mm,
even more aggressive. They think they
yeah.
can attack your self-esteem in a way more vicious way.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting point because something that I found in my article, I found a mistake in someone else's article, someone that is very
All
much
right.
implanted in the field.
All
And
right.
so I exchanged via email with this person.
All right.
So because I didn't want to publish before having
All right.
them aware of this. And this person told me, yeah, this student made this analysis. I don't know much, but probably they made a mistake when doing this analysis. But this was published. And the fact that my results were different also were contradicting a bit what they claimed in their article because of the
Right.
mistake they had made with this reaction rate.
Right.
So I mentioned it in the article. I don't know if I don't want to invent things or anything, right? But maybe
Right.
also that's something that didn't the referee didn't like or the reviewer didn't like.
Ah, okay, right. No, true. It is also one of the very big problems that I see with our field, that like how much it is not open to criticism. You're always walking on eggshells. You're always afraid to tell your supervisor or anyone else who's a senior that they're making a mistake, although you know that they're deeply in the wrong. You can
Yeah,
see it, and then it is something that you can even like give them the references to, but you should never be criticizing someone who is senior to you openly. And then not
yeah,
even in papers, like you cannot just tell people that, oh, you were wrong or like you made a bad mistake in here, etc.
yes,
I do
yeah.
remember there was this research in gravitational waves that someone had done, and there was a press release around it. Even it was published in APJ. I remember, like a very prestigious journal. And we figured out that everything that they had said, it didn't have any scientific basis.
Oh,
And then we just told them, and the way they criticized themselves was that in a second paper, they just said that, okay, the code we were using, it was not accurate enough to support our predictions, blah, blah, blah. But it was
Mm.
just so, let's say it was so delicate because all the press release was out there, like the noise that they made and then everything. And then like these people were from a very prestigious university in the United States as well. So I mean, there's like a huge prejudice
Yeah,
towards like where a theory is coming from. So those
yeah,
people cannot be wrong. And then they're the referees of a lot of papers as well. So if you go against them, then it means that your paper by default is going to be rejected.
yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah, no, this
yeah,
is one
it's
of the big pitfalls of doing science. I believe like sometimes you don't know, like you're just touching the fire and it just burns you completely. It's a small fire, but then like it burns you a lot, like sometimes to ashes, and it's very difficult to rise from that
yeah.
again.
And I think that's why there is I mean, this thing of ego also, and this problem that
Mm,
the people that are the nice people often leave academia because it's a sharp world. Like you have to be
right.
super tough and super like
True.
this poker face if you want to
Right.
survive some
You have to be
interaction.
very
Yes,
cold, aggressive, very competitive. Like I've
yeah,
seen like some
exactly.
of the like best people, some of my best friends have quit the field. They're brilliant, elegant, and then really competent, very smart people. But because they hate the competitiveness of this field, they're just like, okay, I have enough. Like I'm not made for fights, and then like every day like this type of like aggressive environment that I'm in, like it's ruining my life from a mental point of view. So I'm just
Yeah.
out. And yeah, I think this is like one of the biggest problems of our field. It's not built for people who are nice, kind, and not competitive.
Yeah, exactly. While in research, we should be like, we should,
Collaborative effort, right? If you're
what?
having all those big collaborations. But yeah,
Yes,
no,
exactly.
everyone should be everyone's enemies.
I mean, we should be open to discussing contradictory theories in a constructive way because maybe
Right.
some of their ideas are good, maybe some of mine are good, and maybe some
Right.
are bad. But together, by discussing this in a calm way and like
Right.
um, constructive way, we can really make a good science. I think, an open way. I think some another problem is that there is not enough open science. Like people are
Oh,
very reluctant to
absolutely.
share their codes in
Right.
articles and yeah,
No, true. I mean, these are all very good topics, in my opinion. Also, I mean, the fact that we can create way more in a way more open way, that is great. But then I think one of the things that really ruined that mentality is the publish or perish. And
yeah,
then I mean, like that is a mentality in and of itself, like more than um like let's say in an industrial way, the way that these things go, because this is our product, right? So like people have to publish more and more and more and more for I don't know who the consumer is, because from what I know, no one can read all these papers. People just check the abstracts tops every day and
yes,
then that's it. So I don't know who this product is for. But then secondly, this thirst to publish first and fast and then alone and then taking the credit, I think this is the thing that broke a lot of collaborations and then sent us moving backwards in
mm,
science rather than moving forward, because
yeah,
we could be publishing in a way more productive, healthy way, in
yeah,
my opinion, rather than
definitely.
just criticizing each other, eliminating each other, taking the lead. And one of the criteria for becoming permanent staff these days, I believe, is becoming a PI or leader or something. So it's becoming even more aggressive because you have to climb the ladder quite fast in very
Yeah.
early stages of your career. Otherwise, if you're just a grant holder or I don't know, you're just good at what you're doing, that doesn't cut it. You have
No,
to
yeah,
have
yeah.
way more.
Yes, you have to have the visibility, scientific, also conference and all this. And of course, for conferences, there is a huge selection bias due to
Of
like
course.
visa issues or all the conference fees, which are huge.
Right.
So yeah,
And
it's
whoever who's on the SOC is trying to give more opportunities to their own team, like
yes,
give visibility more to their own team. So if you're attached to one of these people, then you will blow up in terms of visibility and exposure. And if you're not with them, then you're just someone who's like watching from a side, right?
yeah, yeah, definitely.
So yeah, like you just like caught on all of these issues very early on in
Yes,
your
but
career.
I
It
think
hit you like a truck.
yes, yeah, yeah. We
Oh my
got
God.
this running joke with my supervisor that I had
Right.
20 years of experience in academia in 3 years of PhD because I was like one door after the other.
It came to light very early on. Okay,
Yeah.
I can see where you
But
Oh
I'm
my God.
actually grateful for that. And I think it's really something that I keep in mind because I know who I want to be if I stay in
Right.
academia, and I know what I don't want to do or what I don't want, how I don't want to behave, and all these type of things. And I know that also if people talk to me in a certain way, I know it's not on me; it's most likely on them. So
Oh,
that's
wow.
taught me quite a lot, I
Right.
think.
No, better to know earlier, right? But I
Yeah,
think it is also because we know each other personally for so many years now. Now I know that I think you caught up on all of these things very early on because you're a very sensitive person. Like most people don't get it. I remember after my PhD, I had a huge crisis because I thought this over criticism of what I have done. I mean, also like I mean, from my personal perspective, because I was not very satisfied with my PhD overall it was really hard on me to accept like what I had done and then like how it turned out to be, etc. But then it took me a very long time to just gain the knowledge of how things actually work. I had to read a lot and then understand a lot and then find the right people because around me there were all these high profile people from the very beginning, like all the famous people, and then I couldn't relate to them. I just thought that
yeah,
oh, I have failed because I couldn't end up being one of them. But then I was completely blind to like how this community works towards outsiders, like people who
yeah.
just don't belong from many aspects to them from very early on. You catch it on, but then yeah, you have to have a huge knowledge about how this works, how all of this works.
Yes, and I think you phrased it very well. I really liked that you say that you had to find the right persons, and I think it's so important because
Right.
there are many allies around us, and sometimes we don't know how where to ask for help, how to
Mhm.
ask for help. But if you're surrounded by good people that also wants you to succeed, then it's always easier. Like what we have with
Right.
astronomers for planet Earth, right? We have like this
Right.
community of good people that we are driven with these same values.
Right, true. It's a
Yes,
yeah, it's a big environment of people who are very close to our heart and then
yeah,
support our vision. So like just these things existing is a huge help for people who have a certain type of concern. But for me
exactly.
back then, like unfortunately, I was surrounded by all the wrong people. So
Okay.
no one gave me the right type of advice because no one also had seen much more. This was the problem. Like I was working in an Italian community with Italian community, surrounded by Italian community, and then
Okay.
people like I mean Italians work in a very closed way, I wanna say. So I mean they haven't seen like way more because from very early on they're hugely supported by their own community, so they never relate to what has happened to you as an outsider.
Okay. Yeah.
And then whoever else did you see is like someone who was a foreigner also, and they had a bad experience as well. So I mean, you're basically like, okay, yeah, like we all did not have this in us. While when I just emerged and then like I went like some countries away where they had the actual like DEI culture and they knew how to like treat an immigrant in this field and then like how the opportunities could be equally distributed, etc. Like these concepts existed somewhere,
Yeah.
which is like I mean, doesn't exist at all here. Then I figured out that, oh, few years back when I was going through all of these things, it was never my fault. It was like the bad culture that I was involved in
Yeah.
scientifically. So, yeah, but it took me
Yeah.
some years because I mean, I didn't know anyone who could be relating to my situation or just confirm or just give me some vision on like why this happened and how this
Mhm.
happened, etc. But it was
Yeah,
a
it must
long
have been
journey.
yeah, it must have been quite hard because that's true what you're saying. Yes, it's like if you don't have an example of somewhere else how does do things work, then you cannot know whether your situation is normal or not. And if it's not
Right.
normal, you don't know it. So you are
Yeah, because
taking
you don't know
decisions on it.
better. You haven't seen
Yeah,
anything else.
yes, exactly.
You're
Yeah.
your whole sample, and then like some few other people who are around you. Yeah, like they have also been mistreated, but then you never know like where the actual problem is. You think that is your fate. You think that, oh yeah, I mean the people around you, like they had the right to treat you like this. But then when you
Hmm.
go out, you're like, oh yeah, but if I had a supervisor who actually had knowledge about how to treat other people in a better way, and they had gone outside and seen more people, more collaborations, more open people, then your fate would have been like very different too. So I used to blame myself a lot. Then when I grew like 3, 4 years ahead of that, then I saw that, oh yeah, like I mean, I was working with people who were like in very close, isolated environments.
Okay, yeah,
So I mean, I right now, if I want to supervise a student, I would do way better than how my near retirement supervisor at that time did
yeah,
because I have like a better vision of how to supervise people, how to give them opportunities, etc. They really
yeah,
did a bad job. So finally I could like gain the vision to know who to blame actually for my like
yeah.
performance, which was not very good. But yeah, it was a very long journey, really.
Yeah, I can imagine. And it's good that you're also taking the positive, like what you learned from this, and that you can, as supervisor in the future, you can do better than what you had back then.
Right,
So,
true. Like if there's like one thing that I don't want to be is like to be like anything near whoever who supervised me during my PhD. Like that was really bad. Like I mean, I
yeah.
never role model them. I found my role models afterward during my not even my first postdoc, like after that, really.
Okay.
So yeah. I mean, working here as a foreigner, like in Italy, that's very challenging. I think
Yeah.
starting from here, remaining here is just a huge opposite of the positive experience. Like you should always like bring it outside and then see how people do outside and
Yeah.
then like bring it back here. So from here you will not take away anything in terms of DEI. Like you should go outside and then like from outside learn from people who are active in this field and then bring back here.
Okay. Yeah. I see.
So yeah. But
Yes.
so I mean you changed to sustainability at a certain point in your PhD, I figure.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
I read your
exactly.
thesis.
Oh,
I mean,
nice.
like, I read the acknowledgement and I figured out, I don't know if this is the right way of phrasing it, that at a certain point in your PhD, you find yourself quite lost and you were
Yes.
trying to find yourself again.
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
But it happened, right?
Yes, it
So do you want to
happened.
tell us a little bit about that? Like how did you like after like being blown up by all of this new experience that was not very positive too? Like your values were compromised, you didn't want the way that it was going, and then you figured out that oh, astronomy isn't the thing that I was thinking it is. So I have a new path, but it's very difficult to change all of that in your PhD, which is a very sensitive phase, and it builds the entirety of your career moving forward.
Yes.
So what
So
happened?
what happened? It's a bit complicated, not complicated, but yeah. So I started to work on a side project from my PhD, which is actually now part of my PhD thesis too, which was on
Mhm.
this index on how to communicate on climate change in a way that is
Mhm.
not temperature increase, because it's something that we don't have very. It's very hard to understand. +3 degrees, what does this mean? So we really wanted to create something new that could show people how their quality of life, especially in rich countries that are mostly responsible for what is
Right.
happening, um, how their quality of life was going to be impacted. And I
Right.
worked with this with a team of 3 other PhD students, and it was really a project that drove me. And I really liked it. So it was a first exit door on at least I have this topic. It makes a lot of sense to me, and this is bringing me a lot of stimulation. And I had this nice collaboration with friends now. Um, so that was really cool, but it was still not enough. I was still spending most of my time on the PhD on the yeah,
Mhm.
globular cluster, which I loved before, but since this moment
Right.
of this
Right.
realization, it changed a
True.
bit. So then I'm very lucky that I got amazing supervisors, and they really supported me a lot through this journey. And I think I don't know if I'm not sure I was that easy, because I would just come sometime and just say, I want to quit the PhD. I cannot do that anymore. This type of moment where I
Stuck in
say,
the middle.
yes,
I want to leave, but I can't leave.
yes. And actually, at that time, my sister was living in Thailand. So
Right.
I decided, and with the agreement of my supervisor, to take a bit of a break there. And I spent two
Right.
months in Asia. And that was just really, really fulfilling. Like it is just unable to take a break, change environment, and to really try to think about what I wanted to do next. I almost didn't come back from Asia because I was at this point I was almost sure. I was talking a lot with my sister, and I was telling her
Right.
I think I want to quit the PhD, and I was also sometimes online with my supervisor to be
Right.
like, I don't like this. I don't know how to handle the situation.
Right.
And then coming back from Thailand, I met the right people at the right moment, and that I'm so grateful for this. There was a few, and I put them in my thesis acknowledgement. Actually,
Right,
it was one discussion with Leo Butcher, who is
right,
co-founder of A4E,
right,
because we had this in-person meeting in Würzburg,
right,
in Germany, and I was talking with him. I was also telling him that I'm not sure I want to finish the PhD because it seems like like a long road to go, and
right,
I've lost the sense of purpose. I don't feel it anymore.
right.
And then he told me that if you want to be taken seriously with climate change and in life in general, get your PhD because people will look at you in a different way.
All right.
And this stuck
The sad
with me.
realities of life, right? But it is very
Yeah,
true. I've heard,
yes,
especially in Germany, like it
yes,
makes
in
a
Austria
huge
too.
difference, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. And then the second person who really helped me was she is working at the observatory and she was in charge of the curriculum for the master student. And she asked me, hey, do you want to just teach a course on sustainability in astronomy for the next semester?
Wow.
We are missing some elective course, so it could be cool. And then I said, okay, yes, let's do that. And I spent the whole
Amazing.
summer preparing a course on sustainability in academia
Right.
and I loved it. And I love teaching so much that it's actually something that kept me going, like just
Wow.
talking with students and having this room of exchange and like uh, teaching on something that I was passionate about and that was really at my core, yeah, in my heart, close to my heart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm just amazed by the fact that how things started aligning themselves in your direction, right? Like the
Yeah.
moment that you switched, you found purpose in something else. Because this doesn't happen. Plenty of people, I mean, okay, like one of the important factors here is that you very quickly figured out what is bringing purpose to your life. There are many PhD students who don't just find this. They're like, okay, this topic doesn't work for me, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
quit or I'm gonna change course or this is it. Or I hate my PhD. I'm gonna finish somehow, but I hate it.
Yeah.
But you figured out how to manage the situation. What is giving you purpose? Why are you conflicted? And then after that, things came together.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of a big part of luck, I would say, but also of being at this point able to listen to the voice inside, like what I was feeling inside. And I think I could not have not listened to how I was feeling about it because I cannot. I'm a very passionate and driven person in general, and I cannot do something that I don't like or that I don't
All
believe
right.
in anymore.
True.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, and then exactly things align because just at the end of, I mean, not even before I even submitted my PhD thesis, there was this postdoc opportunity at the University of Vienna to work on the sustainability of the WST. And I didn't even take an interview, it was just like open to me. And
It was again made for you, right?
yeah, exactly.
Right.
So things aligned, yeah. But sometimes I also think that if you can identify the timing in your life or what really drives you, and you can listen
Right.
to this with trying to put your fears a bit more in silent mode, then
Right.
things eventually they can just come to you like this.
Oh, wow.
Maybe it's
This
a
is
bit
very
idealistic,
inspiring.
but
No, this is very inspiring because it's a huge leap. I mean, I took a leap of faith in the middle of my PhD, so it was I don't know, it was a very difficult phase.
yeah,
But yeah, it's exactly as you said. Like there was like a moment of isolation and everything getting stuck because I was like completely in the dark. And then like afterward, like things just happened the way that they
yeah,
had to happen. Like it
nice.
just aligned because I just figured out that oh, what I had behind me was not working for me. So I need a
Yeah,
new path. I need a new road. I need new people. And it worked the same for you. So it's not
yes,
like, I mean, I can see like, I mean, I was the first one, like you're the second one. So apparently like it works like that. So if
yeah,
someone is watching this and they're
yeah.
like fearful what is happening in their PhD, if you feel like you have to, yeah, like leave some stuff behind and then take a new journey, like start something new, don't be
Yeah,
afraid, do it.
yes, it's
Right? I
beautiful, I
mean,
think.
there are two people at least who survived that and they're happy about it.
Yes, exactly.
No, nice. I mean, this is really inspiring. Yeah. And then I think the way that you're describing it, it is true. You were prepared to start listening to new people and then taking in ideas and being diligent about it and moving forward.
Yeah,
So you did a switching between, I mean, you're still in the community, but you're doing something I believe way more important than what we're doing like on a daily basis, which is just research. But
different, yes, but I still do a bit of research on globular clusters, and the
right,
beautiful thing is that I love it really much. So now it's
right.
this patient also came back with this wish to learn more and like research more. So I have an 80% position, which means that 1 day per week I can focus on just science, globular clusters, multiple populations, and the rest of
Mhm.
the time is yeah, my postdoc.
Nice. So you have a hybrid model of both.
Yeah, exactly.
This is great. This is fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, with all of this said, after all these challenges, ups and downs, now how does it feel to be an astronomer or astrophysicist or someone who's an expert in sustainability? Like, there's so many things that you're juggling these days. So, how does an ordinary day feel for you?
Okay. Already, so I don't know. I have a very specific way of working, which works very much
Right.
for me, but I don't know
Okay.
if I would recommend that.
Right.
Most of the days I don't have a plan. I just go really with the flow on what I want to
Right.
work on. Of course, there are
Okay.
like some deadlines and emergency, which
Right.
I have in my calendars all the time.
True.
But I like to have this flexibility on today I feel very motivated to work on this project. I want to work on this. Or today is a bad day. I had a very poor night of sleep. I'll do something that is a bit less intellectually demanding.
Right. Okay.
So I don't have a typical day, I would say. It's really
Right.
depends.
It's
Yeah,
one of the privileges of our job, right? It's very flexible. It's
exactly.
not your ordinary 9 to 5 job that you always know what you're doing, how it starts, how it ends, and you just can't wait to get out of the office.
Yes. Yeah.
It gives
I
you a
could.
lot of a stimulation, yeah, like flexibility. You can start your day wherever you're ready, and then you can finish later, even.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I just take a 3 hours break to go for a run and I come back and I'm extremely focused, extremely efficient. I'm
Right.
able to do something that would take a day. I could do
I
it in
know,
two
right,
hours. So it's really a privilege, as you said. Yeah, it's
right.
really
No, nice. I usually ask this to it has become a challenge apparently in these interviews. I don't know if it's going to be like a challenge for you as well. So I said that if you want to describe your feelings as an astronomer, astrophysicist, with 1 to 5 words, what would those keywords be?
Oh wow. Okay. I think wonderful.
Oh,
I want to so I have this word in French, but I think the translation in English will be "ow," like
oh,
AWE, like
oh,
this
yeah, yes.
wow, yes,
Always firing.
yeah. Uh, and yeah, I would stick to these two, I think,
Okay.
because that's it's still something that's really now that I've managed to move and to find a sense of purpose again, it's still something that I find so beautiful. And I know I'm a privileged. I'm part of the privileged one because I grew up in a
Right.
family. Also, I never had to work. I mean, I
Right.
did work, but I
Right.
didn't have to work to earn
Right.
money. My parents
Right.
could have afforded to pay for my studies, and I
Right.
have this chance to of being here because of this background. And I know not everyone can, or so I'm also very grateful for this. I think.
This is amazing. I mean, the first time that someone is just saying these 2 words. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Oh, struck and
What are people?
wonderful.
I'm curious. What
This
are
is
people
wonderful.
usually?
Yeah, no, right. Yeah, like, you can watch the other videos as well. I mean,
Yeah.
they're like it's a roller coaster of words, really. I mean, you have like all this a high frequency way of describing how things are, like very emotional, like the way that you said, and there are like other parts of it as well, depending
Okay.
on like where people are with their career,
Yeah.
and I think how satisfied they are with their achievements and where they're going as well. Because I think part of it is also about where you see yourself going
Yeah.
that affects your emotions. I mean, it's not only about the past, but
Yes. No, definitely. It depends on where you are at this precise moment.
right.
Maybe you ask me the question in 3 months, and I'll tell you I hate this job. I don't know. I hope not, but
You can change that fast, yeah. Right. I mean, because we're all on these like short-term contracts. I mean, 3 months is actually a very long time for us.
yes.
The way that time is experienced by an astronomer, I believe, is very different from many other jobs.
Yeah.
I believe in
In
general,
in which
because
sense?
Because, for example, your one contract is for 2 years, right? Let's say. So, like, I mean, the first year you're kind of in a stable situation if you're not moving. So, let's say, like, if you're moving, the first 6 months you're just settling down. The rest of it for 1 year, maybe you're in a more stable mood. Then, like, after that 1 year, which means that you have another 6 months remaining, you have to be starting looking for a new job, right? So
Yeah.
you're always in this, on average, unstable mode that you don't know where you're going, what's coming, are you moving again? Like, what are you doing in financial terms?
Yeah.
So it's very challenging. Like, usually I would say, like, you have to be a good surfer
Oh
because, I
yes.
mean,
Yeah.
it's a, you're always in the middle of this ocean with waves coming and you don't know, like, how big the next wave is.
Yeah.
So,
But I love this analogy with surf also because I'm surfing, so I love it. And it's really this. So sometimes in life you have this. So when you surf, you're paddling to take the wave, and
right,
sometimes you're not well positioned, you're not right, so you cannot catch this wave. And this
right.
this wave for me is really the
Also,
timing in life, right? Sometimes it's
right,
just not the right timing for you to do this thing. But
right,
and sometimes you don't even have to paddle because you're so well aligned that just the wave is driving you and it's
right.
not you that is trying to drive the wave. So
True.
it's really cool. I love it.
Right. And you have these phases of you're stuck and then you're unstuck, you're stuck, you're
Yeah,
unstuck.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It just like comes in waves, really. So
Yes.
it's difficult to
Yeah.
explain how we're feeling and how we are. But yeah, I mean, this is also the nature of this documentary. We are catching people in very different phases in where they
Yeah.
are. So, like, this is why it's good to go for a huge sample of 100 people because you see
It's really
all
nice.
flavors of
Yeah.
this. So you
It's
will
really
see
cool.
yeah, it's not something that is constant, I believe.
Yeah.
It's
But of course,
very different.
it's very stressful. So my contract, for instance, is only a year. So for me, I
Right,
started and already I had to think, okay, what can I do
right,
next?
right.
So
You
this
have to
short
already
contract.
like start applying for jobs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I know. This is the reality of this job. So you're always
Yes.
looking for the next thing.
Exactly.
Um, okay, so my last question, I mean, I'm very sad to say that this conversation is coming to an end. I mean, I had a very fulfilling conversation with you. Thank you. So, how do you see yourself in the future? I mean,
So
usually the question is that how do you envision your future self in astronomy? But then you have gone like so many places. I think I'm just seeing that how do you envision yourself in the future? Like this question is not about how you're planning to get there
yeah.
or which opportunity do you think comes your way. It's about how you see yourself.
Yeah.
What's your mental picture?
So it's very hard because I have so many things that I want to do in the
Right.
future, and I don't know which one. Maybe they are compatible. I don't know. So something that I would really like to have is I would like to create my own research group and do something on astronomy and sustainability, but with all the values of sustainability, like social, economical, and
Mm.
of course environmental. And I love teaching, so I would really like also to mentor other students and like have this supervision role
Mm.
and train the next generation to have a beautiful impact on astronomy and sustainability. So that would be one thing. And another thing is that I mean, as you know, I have released the first documentaries that I made.
Right.
And now we have this idea of making a second one, which would be much bigger and really about stars and the dark sky, how it makes us feel to stargaze and all this type of thing. But that would be a very big project, which would at least take me a couple of years. So I'm in this between. I don't know if I'll stay in academia. I know that I don't want to work for a private company because I've tried during my engineering school. It's not for me at all. But
Okay.
I don't really know where I'll be. And that's something that really excites me because it means that all the doors are open right now and I just have to pick one or try one.
No, firstly, I'm sure you will make an excellent teacher. I would really love to see you in that role as well.
Thank
Because
you.
I do believe that from very early ages, because I was privileged enough to have really lovely teachers who taught me plenty of wonderful things during my bachelor days. I really would love to see you in that position because I also believe not all people deserve to be a mentor. Like some people are just in that position and they waste a huge opportunity. But you will be one of those people who are very inspiring. You've done a great job in your life so far. like as a young person, as a very young person, you're already very inspiring because you have very clear morals and values and ethics. Like that was always my understanding of you.
Mm, thank
So,
you.
I mean, I would really love you to stay in the academia and then inspire the next generation of kids because I think we really need you, like,
Mm.
and folks like you to be in that position rather than just people who wanna teach people about like hard scientific facts because also the way that education is going, we're moving further and further away from that traditional way of just opening a textbook and teaching
Yeah,
people. You don't need
yeah,
that anymore. So you will really need inspiring teachers to inspire you to follow a path and then gain some insight about your future, about yourself, and then unlock your potential. So I
yeah,
think the future of mentorship is really all about people like that. And I really do see
yeah.
you in that role.
Mm. Thank you. Yes, I mean, I think teachers or like mentors, they have such a power, as you say, to inspire people, and that's one of the most
Right,
beautiful things because you can have such an impact on people's life,
right,
positive or negative, depending on how you behave. But yeah,
right. I mean, it's like really watering the soul garden of someone else, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
become part of
exactly.
their growth. That's a very beautiful role.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
And secondly, yes, do you want to explain a little bit about your first documentary, which was great, and the second one that is upcoming? So if anyone
Yeah.
wants to like check any of them, they know where to
Yes.
go, how to do it.
So first, to come back to the second one, it's not necessarily upcoming because we would need funding and many things. So
Okay,
it's
right.
yeah, still it's just an idea for now.
Okay, right.
Yes, or a seed. Maybe this seed will grow later. I don't know. But,
Right. Well, it's a seed in the ground now.
yes, exactly. But yes, for the first documentary, it's about the situation in the US and in Hungary and
Mhm.
how governments are targeting universities and like by cutting, for instance, research funding and how it will impact us as academics and also the students. And we interviewed four researchers, four professors, one in the US and three in Hungary, and we asked them a bit about their experience, what happened, and how we can move forward, and also try to anticipate so that this doesn't happen in other countries. And it's available on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it is publicly available for
Yes,
people to watch.
yes.
What is the
Since we
title of this documentary again?
silenced the dimming of universities.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So now people know what they what they should look for.
Yes.
Okay, and the second one I believe is also very important because we are having this crisis in the Leo orbit with all of the small satellites and then CubeSats going in the orbit in an outrageous way, and no one is advocating for the darker skies anymore. And this is becoming
Yeah.
a huge thing. And I don't know if you've seen this crazy project that is emerging from United States that they want to put reflective mirrors in the orbit. So like we cannot even see the skies as normal and we can be provided the artificial light from the daytime, which I believe takes away a lot of our spirituality. Because
Yeah.
stargazing is a huge part of our lives since childhood, as you mentioned, and this will take away a very big part of our personal experience living on this planet. So I think like this is going to be like I don't know, like there were like several disasters that happened during my lifetime, like in these 3 decades behind me. One was the emergence of the social media that
Mm.
really made us walk away from the natural way of living, I believe. The second one was COVID. And
Yeah.
the third one, I believe, is this rise of the CubeSats in the orbit. And the fourth one, if this is going to happen, really, is just losing the nighttime dark skies.
That would be such. I was not aware of this project. It's completely insane.
Right. And then like apparently the current government is trying to invest in this. So this is going to be a huge disaster. I don't know if it is going to emerge, but yeah. And this is
Yeah.
like a really bad idea. I think we should be like fighting this
Oh yes.
in
Yeah.
a
Yeah. Yeah.
in a very serious
Completely.
way. Yeah, if it's going to
Yes.
become, we shouldn't be allowing this to happen as astronomers.
Yeah, and that's the one of the only things, the dark skies that we can all access in not too crazy complicated way. I mean, you have to go away from light pollution, of course, but it's still something that is free and available to everyone. So it should stay like this, of course.
It's like banning people from accessing a huge part of nature.
Yeah,
Like people cannot go to forests because they're all privatized.
yes.
Or like you cannot go to mountains because they're owned by
Mhm.
people.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's
It
just criminal.
doesn't make sense. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense at all. Okay, so I mean, I'm done with my questions. Is there anything that you think we've missed out, or is there something that you want to add?
No, I mean, thank you for doing this. I think it's a really cool project, and I'm looking forward to seeing what other people have answered, and if our answers has changed, have changed in, I don't know, 5 years from now, probably.
Right. Yeah, I think this is like one of those capsules that we used to put in the ground, right? And then I open
Yes,
it like after 5 years and figuring out like what happened to everyone, and then
yeah,
have to open it again like together.
yes, exactly.
Thank you so much for accepting this invitation. I
Thank you,
truly
Fatemeh.
enjoyed this conversation. This was amazing.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you
was
so
really
much.
nice. Thank you.